So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the mistake you've been making for years and years, that how this little white thing just might be ruining your golf swing. So I think most of you will agree that either with your own golf swings or with your playing partners, you generally see that lovely looking practice swing. But when they set up over the golf ball, you see lots of things change, which lead to poor strikes, poor direction, and sometimes it can look like a different swing every time. So that one there, obviously way back behind the ball, so catching the ground first, and we could see very noticeably when I did the swing, I stayed on that back foot, but then you see other golfers swinging, kind of topping the ball, and you see golfers who strike the ball well that hit it right and left all the time. So the biggest challenge I think for most golfers is they'll openly admit that the practice swing and actual swing just don't resemble each other at all. And the whole point of a practice swing is that it's a rehearsal for what you're about to do. So comment below now quickly, what do you think the difference between the practice swing and the actual swing is with your game? Okay, so I'm sure you will agree that the only physical difference is the golf ball is involved. So when we make that practice swing, there's no ball, therefore there's no contact, there's no results there. So golfers make generally a pretty good full swing. But once the golf ball's there, they really focus their eyes on the golf ball, and they try and get the try and make the golf ball do up to 5 things. So see how many you do. They try and hit the ball. They try and get the ball in the air. They try and make the ball go straight, try and make the ball go further, and try and strike the ball correctly. So are you a full house golfer there, or are you 1, 2, 3, 4 of those things? So the key is, if you're going to try and hit the ball, for a lot of golfers, they're just so worried about trying to hit it, they're keeping the head down, the swing just disintegrates, the club comes away from the ground and they top it. So the next one is trying to get the ball in the air. So I see lots of golfers that move back here, and because they're trying to get under the ball, the weight falls back, and they either catch the ground way behind or they miss the ground and the club travels up and hits the top of the golf ball. Are you a golfer who tries to hit the ball further, therefore tries to hit the ball hard? So what you'll see with those golfers is they get to the top and they're really trying to hit hard, and you see that swing come in, and it's just a poor strike, normally out to the right, and it's a killer. Then you've got the golfer who's really worried about hitting it straight, and they're so kind of trying to steer that club down into impact. But they might strike it nicely, but we can see that one disappearing well over to the right, and just a horrible golf shot. And then you've got the golfer who gets frustrated because they're just trying to hit it perfectly out the middle every time, and even the best players in the world don't achieve flush every time, so it's just critique permanently about that golf swing. So I'm going to make a very bold statement here. I don't want you to look at the ball. I don't want you to focus on the ball. So to begin with, we're going to leave the ball there, but we're going to take the ball out of the equation, and we're going to focus on making a good movement that when we make that movement, the ball will just be collected at the bottom of the golf swing. And we've all been told, haven't we, ignore the ball. Now it's hard, because as soon as you mention ball, you're going to think about the ball. So we're going to get you today really focused on the process, the movement you need to make, and then because the ball's stationary, the ball is going to get in the way of the golf club. So I think the most simple way of thinking of the golf swing is to get that club head moving in a circle around your body. So you're going to go half a circle back, full circle on the way through. And I would initially say just make a few swings like that, see how that feels. And most golfers probably will notice straight away that the swing feels lovely and relaxed. They tend to start contacting the ground, not necessarily saying in the right place at the moment, but they kind of go, that feels nice, but it doesn't feel like I'm going to hit the ball anywhere. So we say, right, okay, so let's just make that swing and let's just see what happens. And lo and behold, for most golfers, you generally see a pretty good contact. We could see the low point was ahead of the ball. The path and face were fairly neutral, even though I wasn't trying to, and the carry was pretty decent at 130, yards, rolling out 148, and decent club head speed at 70 mile an hour. So I think most golfers might not see that straight away, if I'm being honest, but they'll definitely say that the swing feels more relaxed. And anytime you can keep the tension out of the golf swing, which makes it tighten up, your swing is going to be better. So what I would say the first thing you need to do then is be making that nice full circle and make sure that you're touching the ground. So you can see here every time there I was touching the mat. So obviously if you're on the range, you're touching the mat. If you're out on the golf course, you're touching the grass and taking a divot. But with your irons, you want to make sure that the contact is ahead or after the ball. So the way we're going to get that feeling is we're going to make that half circle back, but just as the club's getting towards the top, we want to feel that the weight's going to start moving towards the target. That's going to get the club to change direction, but it's also going to start to move the mass of our body ahead of the ball. And then when we do touch the ground, we're going to start touching a little bit further ahead. So we stand up, make a couple of those practice swings. And we can see there, I'm possibly touching maybe 3 inches ahead. So the beauty then is, by all means, you could have your eyes looking at the ball. You might actually want to look ahead of the ball. But in day-to-day life, do you ever look at one thing and think of something else? I'll bet you do. So even though you might be looking at the golf ball, I want you to focus really hard on that movement that we've just discussed. And just judge the shot, did I do what I was trying to do? Not worry about what the ball's done for now. So in a setup, focus on that movement. And definitely there, felt like I moved, maybe not quite as early, but we could see there, club head speed jumped to nearly 82 mile an hour. Low point was 4.4 inches ahead. Face and path still very neutral, but suddenly a big pickup at 157 yards carry and 173 total. Now, these numbers are very relative to me speed-wise and distance-wise, but that ability to move that low point ahead to create that ball and then ground contact is something every single golfer needs to do. Now, you might not practice on something like TrackMan, which will give you that feedback, but you can definitely start feeling when you're connecting with ball and then touching the ground after. So again, do a couple of practice swings. That one wasn't as good. But really focus on getting that club moving around your body and then creating the motion with your body to improve that consistency of the circle. So you get there again. Again, felt effortless. See some decent speed at 81 mile an hour. Low point 3.5 inches ahead. Carry at 161 and total at 176. And it's amazing when I do this with golfers face to face, you know, all those 5 things that they worried about start taking care of themselves because they're making some good swings, improving the delivery of the golf club, and therefore because golf is a static ball sport, if the movements are consistently good, well then you start getting a more consistent shot. I'm not saying it'll be a little draw every time or dead straight every time or a little fade, but you should start to see a pattern of shot, which most golfers don't see because they're making different swings each time. So we're going to do one more of those. Nice full circle, but move earlier towards the target. Again, felt lovely. Solid strike. 82.5 mile an hour club speed. Low point 4.3 inches ahead. Carry at 160 again and total at 172. Now, what I've spoken about there will massively improve the contact with the ball. And obviously once you're getting ball and then ground contact using the loft of the club, you start seeing the ball go in the air. I start seeing some reasonable distance. Now, the accuracy thing, and I would say very much about a consistent shape of shot. If your low point starts to be consistent, I've got 7-iron in my hand here, it means you're catching the golf ball in the same part of the golf swing each time. Therefore, path and face should be more consistent, so then it becomes easy where you might need to make some alterations to set up to improve shape or learn a little bit more about how you're influencing the club face. But the key is, if you start making more consistent movements, the practice swing and the actual swing start looking the same. And when you're more consistent in what you do, the consistent results will take care of themselves, and you just might start playing some of the best golf ever without looking at the golf ball.